You're listening to the Low Pressure Podcast, the podcast for skiers.
Presented by CMH Heli Skiing and Peak Performance.
We did it, man. I say that a lot on these ones. This season of the podcast, we're doing a lot of these after.
Yeah, it seems like
big nights out.
Yeah, you're one with Sam. You guys looked a little thrashed the night before.
That was a true fact. It was a busy weekend for IF3. The one I did with the CK9 guys, same thing.
Yeah,
I should start doing them before we go out rather than after.
Yeah, well, we would have, but I was late. So.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's your fault.
Yeah, no, sorry.
No, it's
Did
all
I
good.
tell you what happened? Like the reason why I was late?
No.
It's not too big of a deal, but I was like actually heading out of town fully on time for a like proper arrival. I was going to be here right when we were going to do it. Mm-hmm. And then I was leaving town and my brother was like on the side of the highway with a flat tire. So then he needed some assistance.
Fake, you're lying.
Yeah. No, I'm not even, dude. It was like a proper brother moment,
You
man.
could come up with a better excuse than that, man. I have a flat tire. Yeah. My dog ate my homework. No,
it's a pretty typical.
No, I'm kidding. No, that's cool. You know what, though? I actually like it because, you know, we actually got a chance to hang out last night. And, like, I've always liked to know people and then, like, hang out with them and get, like, you know, a little bit of some sort of familiarity before I do the shows.
Totally.
It's not always possible that way.
I think it makes it a little smoother.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like, it was a fun night. You were sleeping there, right, last night?
Yeah, right on the couch.
I was sleeping right there last night.
Yep. Dude, Wiley's got such the sickest garage, man.
Yeah, it's a great little garage, man.
Lots of inspiration.
This is I've been calling it the Wiley Miller Fat Tire Podcast Studios.
Yeah.
And I'm super stoked and grateful for him. As I said, I was coming down. He's like, yeah, stay at my house. And I'm like, hey, I might get some podcast episodes done. You know, is it cool if I can do one at your place? And he's like, oh yeah, man, no, it's all good, whatever. Set up, find a spot.
Had you like met him before? Or like,
I've known Wiley for a while.
You've known him for a while.
Yeah. He lived in Whistler for a while, and I've known Wiley for a while. Yeah. So he's like, yeah, come stay at my place. I'm like, yeah, cool. I walk in, I'm like, what? It's the best garage ever.
I know. It's really dialed.
Right? Like, he's got the sled deck, which can take off his truck and then raise on pulleys to the roof, and then right beside it is a queen size bed that also can raise to the roof, and you can put like another truck in underneath it. Yeah,
and the couch has wheels on it.
Yeah, casters. So, like, everything's got wheels on it.
Everything.
He moves everything out, and he can drive his truck right in, like where we're sitting.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, this you open the garage, and then he'll back it up, and then he can bring his deck down. He said he can get his truck with the sled on the deck and just pull it right into here. Yeah. And there's still room for the bed, and there's room for all these tables and stuff, and he can wrench on it and do whatever he wants.
Yeah, it's perfect. You definitely, if you're an athlete in the mountains, you want a tall garage door.
This is going on my dream vision board.
I know.
I'm going to take a picture of his garage here.
Yeah, I've already been taking photos, dude.
Yeah, I saw that. You were like walking around just getting some ideas.
Yeah.
Do you have a place of your own?
I don't.
No,
Yeah,
you live up in Whitefish, right?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Whitefish, Montana, and then recently, the past few years, I've been spending a lot more time in Big Sky, Bozeman area.
Mm-hmm. And just because the mountains are better and it's more of
it's
like
definitely like my kind of terrain, and then also the scene. You kind of grow out of it in Whitefish. It's a great place to grow up, and you can learn how to ski like pretty well, but then you kind of outgrow the terrain, and then at least on the resort itself. So
yeah, isn't there good access for like sledding and stuff up there though?
It's decent. The approaches are like really long. Like you have to do like a 20-mile sled ride no matter what. To
bring a jerry can and dump a can.
Yeah, like if you're going out for a day, you definitely want some extra fuel. And then, fortunately, we don't have like huge whips on all the roads. They groom everything, which is nice. So you can rip out like really quickly, but it's still.
Is there like do you have to pay for that? Is like a club that does it or something? Or
it's like it's not required, but definitely. To be a homie, you should
chip
pay
in,
for it.
Yeah, do the right thing.
It's like $5 or something, and you just fund the grooming for the season. So,
right. They have they got people kind of stationed at the bottom of a couple of the zones in like Whistler.
I've been to Revelstoke. They have like a full
Whistler Pemby
gate around there. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's usually someone there taking $20 or cash, or you can buy like a 20 trip pass or something like that. Yeah. And it's always like pay for shit, but then you're like, no, just pay for it.
It's definitely the honor system where we're at. Like they have no people down at the bottom of the
it's kind of one of those things where you're like, all right, I'll pay for it because it's the right thing to do, but also you're like, I'm going on a snowmobile out into the woods. I'm like, do I have to pay for this? Like, I'm not. It's not like a lift pass or anything, right?
Yeah,
but it pays for the grooming and stuff, and that's the whoops is really key.
You guys have some big whoops.
Yeah, man.
Maybe it's the snow. It's just like a little heavier.
There's a few zones that are super notorious for them that you don't. Like a lot of people go, but they don't ever groom them because it's not part of it. There's a place we call the Pemberton Ski Hill. That is like brutal. If anybody that knows what I'm talking about is like, oh yeah, they got brutal whoops. You get to the bottom and you just say, all right, what broke on my sled in the last 5 minutes, kind of thing. You're just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I don't know who I was.
Do you have a 165 track or 150?
Yeah, 163.
That makes the whoops even worse, dude.
163.
Yeah. A little longer.
Yeah, a little bit longer. I was talking to someone yesterday. It might have been Ryan, who was here on the show. And she's talking. I don't know if it was on the show. It's been a long couple days, man.
Yeah, it's blurring together.
Yeah, sure. I haven't even been here 24 hours, and a lot has happened.
Yeah.
But she was talking about. Oh yeah, it was her. She was talking about like ripping with her dog, like on the sled.
Does she have a sled?
Yep. Sick. And she was talking about ripping with her dog on the sled, and the dog's fucking loving it. But then like missing a whoop and like smashing into the front side of the whoop. And she's like, well, I'm like a dog. Like I'm fine. And then like running and missing and like slamming into the.
Yeah, that's brutal.
Into the backside of the whip again.
Does she like walk her dog on her sled or something?
I don't know, but we were talking like, so I take my dog when I go sledding because it's always a logging road approach, usually 4, 5, 6 kilometers up the logging road. So we used to get into the logging road. I usually try to be the last truck in of our friends, and I just open the back door. She jumps out and fucking runs.
Gets her workout in.
Yeah, I got my window down. I'm just making sure that she's ahead of me.
Yeah.
She starts weaving in towards my truck. I give a honk just to make sure that she stays out on the other side, and then I can usually see like the poop shuffle at full speed, and then I'll slow down. I'll slow down and I'll let her do her business before, so I don't take off too fast.
Yeah.
And then man, you just was like lazy man dog walking.
It's definitely the way to do it. My buddy did that up in Big Sky on a couple like road approaches. They're only a few miles, but we did it in the summer once, dude, and the asphalt was hot.
Oh no!
And have you ever seen your dogs like pause when they get too warm and they're running on like rocks? Dude, they full like doggy mittens for like a month and a half afterwards
because they blistered.
Yeah, they like blistered and like the bottom of their paws started to fall off.
Oh, brutal, man!
Which was rough. But if you're on snow, you're probably good.
Yeah, well, she's always running around the woods and stuff, anyways. But yeah, it's like 4 or 5 kilometers, and then we get to the trailhead, and while we're getting ready, it's like 15, 20 minutes, and she's walking around sniffing, looking for scraps and garbage.
Does she just chill in the truck after that? She's tired, probably.
Yeah, exactly. And then put her in the back of the truck and throw a little water dish in there, and she'll just curl up and snooze for the day.
Nice.
5, 6 hours. We'll come back and then gets out, stretches, cruises around a bit, and then runs back down so she gets like 8 kilometers worth of running. Yeah. A couple naps. She's loving it, man. And usually, like if it's sunny and too, it's like she's a shepherd, German shepherd cross, so she's nice and warm.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, no big deal. So like I said, I could sled more just so I can walk my dog easy.
Yeah. I don't have a dog, but if I had one, I'd probably do the same thing. Let him run in the mountains.
Right. And it's like, I could probably take you out there, right? Yeah. I always leave the door open.
Do you ever take her skiing or anything?
I have, but I want to more, if it makes any sense. My friend Leanne Pelosi, the snowboarder, she has a dog named Bella, and I know they go up with her, and I was going to call her before I left because we got a lot of good snow early season. Yeah. Be like, let's just go for a mellow tour and some mellow lines. Yeah. With the dogs ripping around. I remember seeing Eric Pollard had an edit
with his dog.
Yeah. Yeah. Where he was just keen.
They get pitted, dude. It's
nice,
so cool.
Flowy, surfy lines, and dogs are just giving her,
Yeah. Yeah, they're really stoked to be on the mountains with you. So.
Right. Dogs are the best.
Yeah.
But we're not talking about my dog.
I know, that was a bit of an intro.
Although I love it.
If you should get a kibble sponsorship or something.
You know what? So Bushy, Roy Bushfield.
Oh, yeah, he's got his...
Yeah, Dex Knows Best, his dog thing. So we did some stuff like a influencer kind of thing for a little bit. So we got a few bags
free
of dog
food.
It's pretty good. She liked it. It's a local dog food company, and
I
think out of Kamloops, but I think COVID may have kind of screwed that over a little bit. So I don't know, but yeah, Dex Knows Best.
Yeah, shout out.
Right. So, anyways, let's get back to you, man. So from Whitefish.
Yeah, I grew up in Whitefish.
And then, as I was telling you, I don't usually like to ask a lot of questions before the podcast. I like to learn on the podcast.
Yeah. No, ask away. Like, give me some questions because...
No, I said I don't want to, remember?
Oh, no, but I just let the conversation flow.
Yeah, no, remember, so just so everybody listening, it's been a long night. We literally just got up, and I was like, hey, man, I need some help on this one.
Yeah.
But anyways, you're from Whitefish.
Yep.
And then you're living kind of here now.
Yeah, I don't have an actual place yet. I've been sleeping on a couple couches. And then, I've got a friend up in Big Sky I might spend some winter time with. But it's also just so much travel once the season gets going. Like, I call this area like home base, but we kind of follow the snow and wherever.
How long have you been like pro skier, like just doing that as your job? Do you work at the same time, like in the winters at all?
Not in the winters, no. In the summer, I've got a gig with my dad's business. He builds bike trails. So
oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a super fun pastime. But in the winters, yeah, I've been able to make it like professionally since, or at least be able to fund it since I was like 18.
No way.
Yeah.
You were what, 22 you said
22.
now? Right
yeah.
on, man.
So 14.
When did you get picked up with TGR? How did that go? But tell me that story.
Yeah, so definitely lifelong dream as a kid. I used to go out to all the films like most of the Groms do. And I saw like the first like idea I had to like try to become associated with those guys was watching Daniel TC win the TGR.Grom Contest. Mm-hmm. I think I was like 13. So then after that, entered the event the year after, did like actual filming, and my dad's always been super sick in the backcountry with me. He like from a young age brought me out, and I was able to start having him film some of the lines I was doing, which was super sick. It was definitely like how I started to build a name for myself throughout the ski industry. Is like I was a younger kid that was getting a couple video clips, and people were like, dude, who is this kid? Like,
was it Cole that had like a very similar story? Was it Cole Richardson? Did you listen?
It sounded like his dad was out in the backcountry with him a few times.
Yeah, I was like, I've heard this story before. I'm like, it's very, very similar.
Dude,
it's cool.
Supportive papas. That's like the way to do it. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so he filmed me when I was about 14. Maybe I was 13 the first year, and we were doing as much as we could to try to submit an edit for the TGR.Grom Contest.
And are you just like going skiing lines, or are you?
Yeah, just side country, kind of like off the hill, and then maybe like I did the whole IFSA tour from.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I competed. I went to my first IFSA like contest when I was 9 years old.
Did you compete in that one on Blackcomb like 3 or 4 years ago?
I did the last event I ever did IFSA was at Blackcomb, but it was
like Cooch was in that one,
yeah.
And the bath gates were there, and it was like the worst conditions ever, like super bulletproof,
rock solid ice.
Yeah. I was on the mic at the bottom.
Were you at the bottom?
Yeah, with
I heard about them in the base areas talking about your podcast, and you were like,
yeah, it was me.
You were announcing. Oh my god,
I was pumping my own tires, man.
Dude, there you go, man.
But yeah, they were like, hey, you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, cool. I've never.
Yeah.
And they're like, what do I do? The other guy I was with, I can't remember his name. He's done a bunch of them before, and he was like involved in the tour.
The announcing?
Yeah, he had done a bunch.
I think he did like basically all of them.
Yeah.
You like partner.
And then they just needed someone to help him out. And I'm like, yeah, I'm down. But yeah, so you were in that event.
Yeah, did that event. That was like, so I competed at like 5 or 6 events. Like my parents were super supportive when I was younger from like North America, and did IFSA from 9 until 17.
Oh wow, that's a long time.
It was a lot of years of like competition and getting to know like the scene. It's really cool to see now too, because like half the guys around the FWT are all the same guys we were competing with back when we were like 12 years old. So
did you not want to continue on to that path?
I definitely did. I just had these filming opportunities, and that's something that I definitely have always been super passionate about. So when I was 14, tried to enter this Grom contest, got second. Seth Klein won, and then was just like, all right, well, that edit was sick. Let's try to make another one next year. So did a whole nother year of competing and then filming as much as we could, like just in the backcountry, like iPhone clips.
And this is when you're 14 still?
Yeah, 14. And then entered it again when I was 15, and then won the event. And then that just got my like little edit displayed in front of the TGR film. So like a couple people got to know my name, and then got to, as part of that event, you're supposed to get a chance to film with TGR. And that's only if conditions line up. So I like middle of the season was so amped. I got a phone from Sage. He's like, yeah, man, you won the TGR.Grom contest. And then, drove to...
That's a good call, eh?
Dude, they like told me like, yeah, are you available like this day to maybe hop on a phone call? And I was like, oh man, like what are they going to tell me? But then all of a sudden it was Sage on the phone. I was like, what?
That's cool, man.
Yeah, it was definitely a cool moment. And I was driving in Bozeman actually, just like, because at that point it was middle of summer. I was like middle of grinding out some work with my dad, and then got that phone call, and I was just like so stoked. But
he's just like, hey man, it's Sage, man.
It blew my mind. Yeah. I know. So
did you have it on speakerphone?
I was just chilling. I think.
Were you in the car with your dad?
Not at that time. No, I think I was running an errand. I went to like Home Depot to buy a rake or something.
Yeah.
And then I was like middle of downtown, and then got a call and pulled over, and was just
that's
amped.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely gave me some energy for the year after.
And then like, so you said that you were like on call to do a trip with them, or
it wasn't. Yeah, so you don't have any like partners really at that point that can like fund a full trip. So it was like come to
Jackson. Because that's how it works, right? You don't have sponsors that's going to pay for your part.
Yeah, definitely. You got to have the brands that are associated with like the company and get into film. So
which is kind of unfortunate though, you know what I mean? It's like
when I was a Grom, I definitely thought TGR paid their athletes, and I think that's like a common misconception is like
like
we're all like Hollywood getting paid, but no.
Yeah, it's like your sponsor. The reason that you're in that movie is because your sponsors ponied up some cash to one of the film companies so that they can pay for their
Yeah, it's the way
and
the
they can
industry
pay-
works, for sure.
Which I learned late in the game too.
Dude,
I was
I
doing
know.
the podcast by the time I learned. I'm like, what?
I know. It blows everyone's mind. But now I'm just like, oh, that's common knowledge, but it's still not. So.
Yeah. Things cost money, right?
It definitely costs
But it
money.
is a little unfortunate when it comes to like the Grom kind of aspect, like a younger athlete, where it's
Yeah.
like, well, let's give him a chance. We'll get him.
That is why the
set
Grom
up.
contest is sick. Is like you do get the opportunity,
Mm-hmm.
and then unfortunately in my case, like conditions just were atrocious that year in Jackson. It was, I don't remember what year it was, but we went to try to film and no other athletes were in town because it was literally just bulletproof ice and raining. So then I skied around Jackson for a couple days with one of their cinematographers, Jill,
Yeah.
and got to show her like my skiing at 15 and did some big backflips, but it was literally just solid ice.
Mm-hmm.
And then footage was never used for anything. And yeah.
But it was just like they have it like, oh, this kid can.
Yeah, I got introduced.
This kid's
to the,
gonna huck himself to rock solid. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, he'll be fine when the conditions are better, right?
got introduced to the scene, and then from then on,
And then next year, then did you start?
no,
filming?
then next year still didn't have the partners to really like be a part of it. So went a couple more years of competing because I was still 15. So competed as much as I could until 17.
Oh, and you're young too, right? So maybe they're like,
I was also like, they had never filmed anyone that young at that point.
and
so
then
like,
now they've got
no, Kai. But dude, Kai's 15 now, so he's like,
Is he 15 now?
yeah, they still call him 11 though because he's
His line, that one line, I only saw. I haven't seen the movie yet. Unfortunately, I haven't watched the full movie. Unfortunately, which I was like, I should have made sure I did that. But I saw one line of his.
Did you watch the cook segment then?
I think maybe.
Because that's the one at the award show. Do you guys show them, or is it?
No, unfortunately,
You show
I think we
parts of
showed a clip of it. So I did show the clip of it. Is that where he's like skiing down that crazy like knife ridge thing and launches off into the? Maybe not.
Potentially.
I know, and I feel bad because you
Yeah.
guys won the best backcountry segment at IF3 this year.
Yeah, man, honored. It was super.
And
super
I was
fun
like,
trip.
and I got to announce the award, and Mac and McNutt were there, and they were the only real TGR
It's
people.
hard to get across the border still. I was like,
Yeah, so we knew that we were gonna win because we were trying to figure out, all right, who's gonna be around, who can do it. I'm like, I called Mac and told McNutt, I'm like, yeah, come to the awards. I didn't tell him.
you
And
didn't
I
tell them what they were winning.
No, and I just sandbagged them. I'm like, come on up here. And he's just like,
Oh my god.
I don't remember what he said. He was just like, all right, thanks, cool. And he got off the stage like right away.
Oh man.
Did you get it delivered to you?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm sure Todd has it or something.
Maybe. I know because I had them at my house and I mailed them back to, I had to mail them in Montreal to Luke who runs IF3.
Yeah.
So I wonder if he sent them out. I'm sure he did.
I'd be stoked to see it, man. Yeah.
It's a nice little piece of
I missed
wood.
all the powder awards, so then this is like the next best thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
Now it is the
It's
thing.
filling the void,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, exactly. And we were trying to make it big and fun again this year. And
No, it's
we
sick.
already started to plan for next year.
Cool.
Because I always went out and did the awards in Montreal, and it was super fun. A couple of years I did it. Back in the day, it was like a whole different animal. Like
Really?
it was a massive loose party.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'll ever get to that point again. But I wanted to kind of recreate some sort of like event. It's been a long time where it's,
We were talking similar around here in Montana. We were like, should we even try to start one? Because just the scene kind of had died out for a little bit.
right?
And it would be fun to like get people back together. And it sure seems like that's what you guys are doing. So
Stuff like the Powtown revival last night was
that was
kind of
excellent.
was kind of like that. Like I hadn't actually seen like a premiere night not in Whistler, I think in a really long time, and it was kind of cool watching people that I didn't really know, like names I recognized, but I didn't really know them that well, that were local to Montana.
Yeah.
And people getting fired up.
people
about
get so fired up.
right? So in Whistler, same thing too, right? If you get like watch a movie and like Kai or Logan or Mac or Abma or anyone like that or Tatum, people are like sick, just because they're
Crowd goes wild.
they're the local athletes. So it was cool to see that from like the point of view from people from Montana. Other Montanans, is that what we call them?
I'm sure. Yeah, that's what we got.
Montana Knights.
Nice. Yeah. I've never heard that one before, but
All right, so back to when was your first year that you actually started filming with them? When it actually all kind of lined
so
up?
like the first like part of my career that like actually got like recognized by the industry was 2 years. So then still competed till I was 17, and then that year at 17 filmed as much as I could. I saw the YG ski Grom or QuickSilver YG ski contest on Instagram. So like submitted some of my clips from ripping around the resort and then got selected as a top 10 finalist. And back then the event was different. So like you would still submit your clips on Instagram and then the top 10 people would be awarded a spot in the finals. But it wasn't like, then you come on a trip with us and then you film for a couple of days. It
is now?
Now, yeah, because now you go with like Sammy out to France or something. He maybe goes shred for a few days. But at this point it was just now you have the rest of the season to submit an edit. So that was already by like February or something. So like the season had kind of been like ticking away, and then we got this opportunity to be in the top 10 finalists, and that's where my dad like fully went out in the backcountry with me and filmed me like the entire rest of the season. And we actually tried to get proper shots. I bought like a nice camera
awesome.
and stuff.
You got a filmer. How old, man? How old your dad is?
Dude, his birthday was 2 days ago, so he's 55.
Oh yeah, so he's like right in that. Oh, that's rad. He's like, I'm taking my. He's probably more stoked than you are to be getting.
He loves it, dude. Yeah, his eyes
hey,
aren't that good.
Hey man, who's your filmer? My old man.
Dude, the comments were hilarious because then so we ended up winning that event, and then he literally got so many shout outs in the comments. He's like, best dad cam ever. Yeah, and it was like proper filming. It was cool. So.
That's cool, man. It's really fascinating how yours and Cole's trajectories are virtually the same. Yeah, it's really interesting. Like I said, listening to that episode that we did with him,
definitely some similarities for sure.
Yeah, like you kind of came up, and then you had your dad helping you out. You went to the QuickSilver Young Guns competition. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So then after that year, I think is when I signed. That was like proper like recognition. I got like a call from Matt Sturbins, and then was able to start hearing from people in the industry that I hadn't even reached out to.
Was that when he was still with Forefront?
Yeah. So he was still with Forefront at that time, and then like 6 months later he had left, but it was cool to just get calls from people and kind of like...
Yeah, right. Like, oh, cool. I know. So did you end up getting picked up by like QuickSilver, or is that kind of part of the deal?
Then I actually signed. So then that's when TGR was like, all right, yeah, let's go out and shoot. So the next season... they helped me line up some partners.
Because they're worried they're going to lose you, right?
Yeah, potentially, yeah. But then we got some partners lined up, and I headed out to Terrace, British Columbia on a trip with those guys. They had fully set it up with Coulter and Tim Durchie. So, yeah, that was a fun little time. Conditions, not really ideal, but, we also ended up with just a super hilarious segment. I brought all these fireworks across the border that... Later on, I found out you're not allowed to do.
You can't do that.
No, dude.
No, you can't. Yeah. I just have a neighbor. Firecrackers have been illegal in Canada for a long time. Like
firecrackers are illegal.
Like bottle rockets.
Those are definitely
like bottle rockets and like M80s and all that kind of
stuff. I brought Roman candles.
Oh yeah, you can buy.
And
Roman
I planned it like a season ahead though, where at like the last 4th of July, I bought like $300 of Roman candles in this massive like crate. And then brought them across the border. No one ever suspected anything, so I got them there. And then as part of the segment, we like strapped them with like duct tape into this like huge roll in the middle of the night, just like explosions through the woods.
Massive cannon.
Yeah, it was sick.
Yeah, no, we could. Firecrackers are illegal. Our neighbor used to like smuggle them across the border all the time. We'd always buy like a couple bricks of bottle rockets and stuff like that. Yeah, my brother and I have both almost blown our hands off before.
I've had a few go off in the for sure. Yeah,
and like it's numb for a while. And like
I'm definitely a pyro.
Let's dig into that.
Oh my god, my family, dude, my brother and I are like so into that part of the season.
You're gonna end up being one of those weird firefighters who's a firefighter just because he's got like some fire fetish.
Yeah, I've been burning a lot of fires the last few days too.
Yeah. Really? That movie we watched last night with Ja, like they have a lot of backcountry fires. I counted like 5 or 6.
I know that was a huge part of their like season, was just chilling at a fire,
going for a sled, and then getting some deadwood and firing up
It's hard to light a fire in the backcountry, dude. Well, you've got like proper gasoline.
Yeah, you siphon a little bit of gas out of your, unless you have a jerry can and just pour it on. And
definitely.
Look at the look on you. That's a scary look in your eye.
I love fire, dude. Yeah, we gotta talk about some of that. It's so funny.
Carry on.
Well, I have a funny story.
Just one time I burned down this building. No, I'll edit that part out.
Like I'm always into fireworks, but then this is a pretty funny story. It was in Alaska a few years ago. Brought up some more Roman candles. Yeah. They made it across the border, which was cool. And then there's so many down days in Alaska that I just like got really creative and bored. And I started building potato cannons. Yeah. Like full on little.
With like the PVC pipe?
PVC pipe, yeah. And like sparkers to ignite it and shoot things.
Like the barbecue igniters?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are sweet.
But then my brother and I a couple years ago had started doing blowguns. So you just like take some PVC pipe, you make little arrows and you shoot them. And it's way gnarlier than like a potato, but they fit in the same barrel. So we were shooting potato cannons that shot like nails.
What?
But then I went back across the border. And then
so like, what is this?
Yeah, my girlfriend's driving home with me, and we were like, stopped at the border. Like, all right, we're gonna search your whole vehicle. I was like, all right, yeah. They're like, do you have any paraphernalia? I was like, nope. And then he just didn't believe me, so he started searching the entire car, and then didn't find anything except for like 4 Roman candles that I had left over, and then a potato cannon and a blowgun. Uh-huh. And the only thing that he had to like declare it all, and then say it was illegal, and he took it from me, and then had to declare how much value it was. But it's PVC pipes. So it was like $2, and the dudes behind this like guy that was taking his job so seriously just started cracking up behind him while he's like interviewing us and trying to interrogate. But long story short, he gave us the potato cannon back that shot the arrows, but he wouldn't let us keep the blowgun that shot the arrows. So we kept like the way gnarlier device that I made up.
How wide was the arrow?
I had it was a small one, so you can make like the huge ones, but I made a little one that was like inch, like 3/4 inch. But
dude, man, did you go to school for like engineering or any kind of like?
Dude, just garage. I just found stuff in my garage and just try to figure out how to make little devices.
You're like a.
My mind wanders when I get bored.
Unabomber in training.
No, but I got a level head, I think. But I just like to go play with things that are exciting.
So, or you're a tinkerer? Do you like tinker?
I love tinker. But yeah, we just fix. My parents have always been pretty like adamant. Like we're not going to have someone like pay to fix this. We're just going to do it on our own. So.
YouTube University, man.
YouTube University, you can learn so much.
Oh man, so I've got a truck that is getting a little bit older, and there's always things going wrong with it. And I had like a squealy belt, for a few months. And I'm like, I should probably fix it. And then I got like a trans fault light just the other day, and I was like, oh, that's not a good one. And then the overdrive light was on and off, I figured out what it was and put in like a new belt tensioner on and a new belt. And
nice, yeah, you tinker.
That kind of I've never been a tinkerer, but I do it out of necessity because I'm like, all right, I don't want to spend $500 or $600 on.
Dude, their shop time is ridiculous
on labor, and it just came down to one day. I'm like, I just need to do this. And the first time I did a job on the truck, I'm like, oh, it's just
bolts.
Exactly, just bolts. It's just you need to know where it goes and how to put it on, and the other stuff you got to take off, and it's just a little bit of time. I'm like, oh, that's nice. And I probably changed like 5 or 6 parts, but it didn't fix the transmission issue. So I put it on a tow truck and towed it to Vancouver. Like as I got on.
Sometimes the project's big enough you need them to figure it out.
Oh man, I'm not messing with the transmission. So I don't know. I'm hoping that I don't have like a $3,500 bill when I get home.
Oh, that would suck.
Yeah,
it's potentially going to be the case.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I'm like, is it my truck even worth that?
Yeah.
but at the same time, I can spend $3,000 and drive my shitty truck, or I can spend like 15 or 20 that I don't have for a decent truck. Yeah. I think I'm gonna just drive the shitty one for a couple years still.
You can make them.
I want to get one of those electric vehicles too.
Dude, Rivians,
or they've got the Ford Lightning.
Oh, the new Fords are pretty dope.
That F-150 Lightning or whatever it's called.
And supposedly, like with the whole, I don't know about Canada, but with the whole like economy boost they're trying to do around here, they're adding charging stations like. Trying to make them as frequent as like a gas station. Yeah, the future is
same thing in Canada, and then like there's a lot of the government rebates and stuff in Canada for that kind of stuff. But still, it's still an $80,000 truck, which is I'll wait till they're 3 or 4 years old and people start selling them for 60, and I'm still be like, fuck, I can't afford this.
Yeah, they're so like they're like faster than like sports cars.
Yeah, they accelerate quicker, and there's less parts to break, right? Like there's no
there's no piston. You just have an electric motor.
It's just no combustible engine. There's so many parts that aren't there. It's just it starts to drive, right? Totally, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Would you ever consider doing like a engineering degree, or like have you been to school since?
No, yeah. So I've had this like I was in high school trying to become a skier, and then I had told myself if I can sort of make this happen before I graduate, then I'm just going to continue on that path. And I never ended up going to school because senior year, I like got the opportunity to shoot with TGR, and I was like, all right, let's try it.
So that was your senior year?
Senior year of high school.
You're going to school?
I was like trying to go to school.
You said you're homeschooled, right?
I was like half days from 7th grade through freshman year. And then the teachers just were like, or only a few teachers, but a lot of them were cool. But like a few of them, dude, like even my PE teacher were so harsh about me. Like I would get the work done.
Because they're jealous.
And I would freaking go work out, even like literally for PE. They were so harsh on us back in Montana. They didn't have any sort of like academy outside of just becoming like a basketball player, a football player.
Because I know I've had a few people on the show that have been to like skiing school. Yeah. Like I know like Isaac Freeland from.
Where did he go?
He did some school program that was for skiing. Yeah. Parker White and CeeLo, Chris Logan, they went to like a school in New York, like a skiing high school as well. Sick. Yeah.
Yeah. A ton of my friends have gone to the Park City like academy.
Maybe that's
like the winter snow school or something.
Maybe that's the one that Isaac did. I think I can't remember the exact one, but that sounds like something you would have done. That's what I was asking, like how long you'd been with your girlfriend. He's like, oh, since high school. I'm like, high school sweetheart, and then you're like homeschooled. I was like, wait, what? I know. It's not your sister, is it? No. All right, so we'll get back on track for everybody listening. Be like, I want to hear I got started with TGR. So they finally got picked up, and you had sponsors by then?
Yeah, had some partners that looked like fully were a part of the film, and then got my first segment.
Who's that? Are they still with them?
No, now I'm with Black Diamond Head to Toe. So yeah, for a year I was with Outdoor Research, and then I'd been with Line since I was like 9 years old.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but then at the time it like I think I'd almost been with them for so long that like when it came time to like step up in my career and try to like make it a little bit of an income, it didn't quite. Like I'd been doing it for free for them for so long.
Yeah, they're like,
and
wow.
I was like a young kid still at the time, but
Right.
then I had the opportunity to work with some bigger brands, and then
So you just have the one sponsor, Black Diamond?
they're like the main. Yeah, so I got Black Diamond for head to toe, basically everything, and then Sweet Protection does like full body armor, sort of mountain biking and skiing, helmets, goggles, yeah, and they make sick outerwear too. But I'm Black Diamond's outerwear right now, and I love their stuff as well. And then
my friend Tobin, you know Tobin? Siegel?
Totally.
He's on Black Diamond.
Yeah,
like,
Tobin and I,
I'm like, hey man, can you help get me like a pro form for a headlamp or something? He's like, I'd probably just give you one. I've got tons of them.
They make a lot of headlamps.
They got great headlamps.
Yeah, their headlamps, I've got like 6 in my truck right now if you want one. Yeah. So,
that's sweet.
Yeah. And then, I've been like pretty fortunate with finding partners that are kind of unique for the industry. I got sponsored that same year I won the QuickSilver contest and had a couple people reach out. Seaba Heli from Alaska hit me up. So then I started getting like, it's not free heli skiing, but a deal with those guys. And then that allowed me to kind of it wasn't any sort of film besides just a personal edit. But at 17, going up and skiing at like AK was like pretty good for them.
Oh, you went to AK? Oh, that's sweet. I'm waiting for, CMH is a sponsor of the show for a few years. Yeah. And they've got some amazing lodges. I'd love for them to have an Alaskan lodge. Maybe it's in the works. We'll see. I haven't been out with them though. I've been out for like summer like hiking tours, which is awesome. Super, super rad. I had so much fun. They got this cool Via Ferrata. Anyways, but the first year I didn't ask. Just because I'm
ask about just
going heli skiing, right? I'm just so stoked I got them as a sponsor. You know, like I had lost had Eddie Bauer and they had left, and Whistler Blackcomb got bought up by Vail. So I'm like, I don't even know if I have a partner for the show this year. I didn't know if I was going to keep doing it. And then they reached out through one of their, I guess, agents, and I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And I didn't ask. I'm like, oh, you should have asked. We would have probably figured it out. I'm like, God damn it. So then the next year, I was going to go like in the spring, and then COVID shut it down. And then last year, they didn't even run any tours at all last year. So I'm like, no big deal. I'm not too upset about it, you know, because they're a great sponsor. But I had a conversation that he's like, we're trying to get you out. I'm like, yes, please, just let me know. I'll drop everything. I'll go. Like, you'll say, hey, can you be here in an hour? I'll be like, how about 5? It'll take me that long to drive. I'm like, I'm in.
They just got to send the heli to your house, dude.
Yeah. I'll just meet you out front, man.
Yeah,
I'm ready to.
Like as the crow flies, it's probably not that far. They just rip over there, pick you up.
Yeah, I know. There's no real CMH lodges in like Western BC. It's always like kind of Rockies, Purcells, like Revy East, I guess, kind of thing.
Yeah,
but that's okay. You know. Anyway, so you got Seaba Heli. Are you still working with them?
Yeah. So I've been up there the last 5 years. It's unfortunately been some of the worst 5 years that we've had on the record books. But
I heard they just got nuked on.
Dude, yeah, Alaska's been in like a funnel of snow recently. It wasn't quite like there was like that 20-foot dump in 24 hours or whatever, but they were just south of that. They're still getting pounded on though, so it could be a good year hopefully. So.
A little residual from 20 feet in 24 hours is still probably
I know. I know. That's so insane. I cannot believe that actually happened.
That's cool. So you did like one of your first AK trips like when you were a teenager.
Yeah. The actual first time was right after that Whistler event. The event that the last event I ever did.
Oh, for real?
So my dad,
on the most heinous conditions of all time.
Yeah, so that was bulletproof, super gnarly, that event. And then a few of the Seaba crew have worked for my dad's trail business in the past.
Oh, no way.
And then we were like in Whistler, and then decided on maybe doing a little bit of a road trip, and they had like a bro deal. And if we went up there and sat for like 2 weeks, we might get an hour or two.
So you and your dad just
chilled? So my
dad
literally in this tiny little Honda Fit drove all the way up freaking through the Yukon and got to sit at my buddy's cabin for a couple of weeks and got a day and a half.
That's like, really cool, man. Like you and your dad must have a great relationship, and I hope you actually understand or are able to comprehend how special that is.
Fortunate, dude. I love having like a great family. It's been incredible to grow up with people that support what you're doing.
Did you see Tatum's new project, Passage?
I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, it's really, really good, and it's a lot of it has to do with her relationship with her dad and like her grandfather who started like their shop and stuff, and like her and her dad go and like hike and ski this rad cool Mara. It's really cool. It's really, really neat to see that. I'm like, like a special moment where you can actually share that stuff you know, with your family, you know?
Yeah, I think we'll be doing it for a while too. He's not slowing down, so yeah, it's been sick. And
nice. And mom, does she ski? And
yeah, mom and dad both met in Mammoth, so they were both ski bums back in the day.
Oh yeah.
And then they moved north, stayed in Bozeman for a year. They were like snow reporters at Bridger Bowl.
Okay.
And then from there went a little further north the next year and moved up to Whitefish and ended up having me like 2 years later. And weren't ever planning on that being like home, but they had both been there before and
this worked. It was nice.
Locking it down.
This is good. We're here.
Yeah.
So. It was like we don't necessarily want to. We weren't planning on staying, but we also didn't make any plans to leave, kind of thing, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think maybe they lined up with like a good snow year too. And they're like, "Wow, this was sick." And
that's how I got stuck in Whistler, man. I got there first year. I'm like, this was a lot of fun, and then the next year, I'm like, this was a really good year. And then I was like, okay, maybe one more season, and then I'm done. I'm going to do some school and do all this stuff. And then we had a bad year. I'm like, I'm not ending it now. I'm like,
you're gonna end on a bad note.
We had another bad year, and then it was a really good year, and I was like, oh, that was fun. I'm like, maybe I'll just do one more, and then it was
5 years later.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. I'm fortunate though, because I grew up in Vancouver. It's like an hour and a half away from Whistler, so I'm like an afternoon away from home. Like I can go home and back in the same day.
Yeah, it's all pretty close by.
So I'm pretty fortunate with that regard, because there's people obviously from all over the world, like all over Canada, Ontario, Quebec. It's a 5-hour, 6-hour flight. Yeah. You know, even Alberta, like Calgary and that stuff. It's a 10-hour drive. You know. Yeah. So pretty fortunate that way. So the first film was which one?
That was TGR Far Out. Was the first like full production I'd been a part of. Mm-hmm. And then
did you have a big part in it? I don't remember.
It was a decent part. Yeah, conditions were.
But it was your first one.
But it was sick to be a part of it. Yeah, the crew was epic.
It's pretty cool having like your first real part in like TGR, man. Like that's like right up there with like you know the big 3 or big 4. You know, it's like MSP, TGR, like level 1, right? And then like maybe Warren Miller on kind of a different level.
It just did a different vibe, different film.
We were talking about that with Amy last night. Were you in that? Were you?
I wasn't there.
No, because we're like, they get such big numbers. Like they sell out these massive theaters.
Totally, yeah.
But it's not core skiers.
Their premiere season didn't even start till like a week ago.
Yeah,
and like all the other premieres that like us,
right? And like these are the core people that like, oh, I want to go to see the TGR movie. I want to go see this movie, right? Yeah. Whereas like the people that go to Warren Miller's movies don't even realize those movies exist.
I don't think they know.
It's like a completely different like.
My grandpa was a huge Warren Miller fan.
Me too. Yeah. Like I remember going when I was a kid with my family to the Queen Elizabeth Theater and watching the Warren Miller movies.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a Warren Miller movie since I moved to Whistler. 20 years maybe.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not. It's like separate almost.
It's
like
definitely a different scene.
It's a ski movie, but it isn't really. Yeah, it's a different scene, and it's so strange to think about it that way because like
we're all skiers. But
yeah, like you're not going to get a Warren Miller premiere in Whistler. No one will go to it, which is silly because it's a good ski movie, right? But at the same time, in Vancouver, you're going to draw like 2,000 people. But you take a TGR movie down to the city, you're maybe not going to get 2,000 people. You get a handful. You'll get a good number, but it's not going to be. Yeah. As we were having this conversation last night, I'm like, wow, I never thought about that before.
No, it's totally different,
right? Yeah. Huh. But anyway, so yeah, you're in Far Out.
It was in Far Out, and then year after that, actually didn't film with anyone. I was like transferring partners and just did another. I don't remember where I was. What did I do?
Were you concerned about that? Because you like finally got in. And
I know, I definitely was. Yeah, where I just had, because then all of a sudden I'd gone from never just skiing for fun, like just skiing, not having any sort of income. Then I had the opportunity to film with TGR. Still didn't really have too much of an income, and then that blew my name up big enough though that then I had like the opportunity of bigger brands reaching out, and then having more of a chance to like make a living at what I want to do. Mm-hmm. So then took those people up on their offers, but then it also like set some things back because then all these partnerships that we had set up with TGR and different brands have
you got to redo them,
yeah. So just
it might be good for them too because they're like, oh, we want this kid on there, and then this is that sponsor that we now have an in with that they can see if they can connect with, right?
Definitely, yeah.
So you're almost like an agent for them.
Yeah, they like to help you out with your partnerships too, though. Mm-hmm. So it's cool to work with them now that I've literally I didn't know the industry at all when I was first trying to join. And then
who does?
Yeah, it's such a confusing place to navigate, but once you do, it's been super fun. So
that's cool. And then so you did a couple more, and then this year, you won Best Backcountry Segment, which I haven't seen yet, which I feel bad about.
You should. Yeah,
I'm gonna absolutely.
Yeah,
because it won awards. It's got to be good. Like I was talking to Jeff Schmuck about it. He's the head judge, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it was."
I'm super stoked that people thought that there was so many segments this winter that just blew my mind.
It was the most movies we had at IF3, I think, ever. We had like 100 movies submitted this year, and then I think they whittle it down to judging for
100 movies?
Yeah, they whittled it down to like 60, I think, for the judging or something like that, which is still a lot of films, man.
Yeah.
Fortunately, they're not all 45 minutes.
Yeah,
right?
a lot of like 6, 12,
Smaller,
15 minutes.
Yeah, smaller little minutes, but there are some good ones. Did you have like, was it just kind of serendipitous with like the conditions and whatnot, or was it like?
Yeah, because the whole segment, I was only there. So like, as people start to figure out in the industry, most of your filming is kind of done once the snow gets good, which tends to be around here not until like February through March. And then
it doesn't get done until then, or it's done by then?
No, it doesn't. Like the first trips around here, like typically you want things to fill in Montana sometimes there's low snow.
Oh, down here, yeah.
I'm definitely trying to head up to BC in like December because
wrap,
fill some pillows in. So, but yeah, the segment was here in Montana, and we had like really low snow here at the beginning of the year, and then it started to pound, and we got enough of a backcountry kind of base that we could head out. But I had like 4 trips line up all at once, so it got really hard to like navigate and see which ones were most important and how not to let certain people down. So like over a 2
and
week
like
period,
where is the snow going to be, right?
Yeah, totally. So I'd just been in Jackson for a while at Kings and Queens, and then straight after that event, I had driven like before the awards of Kings and Queens. TGR was heading out on this trip that I was supposed to be like one of like the head dudes on for this Cook City segment because it's kind of my backyard and it's where I've been skiing backcountry for a while. And they had left on the trip, and I was still at Kings and Queens because it was like the day of the event. And that night drove all the way to like near Cook City to help them like navigate and like get an intro segment for the scene. And then right after that, drove all the way back to Jackson, got a flight, and then flew to Crested Butte to go do a product shoot with Black Diamond that had been in the works for like 2.5 months, and I like couldn't miss it.
Yeah, you have to be at that one.
Yeah. So that was the full team. It was super fun skiing with Eric and John Jackson, and then Johnny Constant and a few other people. So got a week there, but then I missed a week of the like TGR trip. I was supposed to have like a decent segment in, and then drove all the way back, or flew all the way back, and then drove all the way to Cook and met him in the mountains. Like at the beginning of the segment, you'll see some POW clips, and I only have like 4 or 5, but they were all filmed at like 3 p.m. after landing on an airplane, driving to Cook City and sledding into the mountains to meet him.
Just getting it
and
done.
And it was literally the very end of like this POW cycle they had. They had just crushed it for like a week of like nonstop puking.
And then you just caught up.
And then I like had one day to get a couple clips before the weather was going to change. And I got a couple clips of like actually skiing POW, which was good. And then I was just so amped and like had enough energy after not crushing it for a week beforehand to try to get things done after that. That then we had another week and just got like decent conditions of like slowly, progressively warming, and the snowpack was like solidifying, like in a good way. Like
you can take your time a little bit with it because you're like, it's not dumping, let's go, it's dumping, let's go. And then now you're like, all right, well, we can just take our time just a little bit, right?
So like the day I got there, got those couple shots, and the next morning those guys were beat because they'd been going at it for like a week. And then
fresh legs and fresh energy.
I had fresh legs and fresh energy, and I was like, dude, I'm here. We only have like 4 days left of this trip. Let's go film. But no one was getting out of bed, so I went and built this jump over the top of this cabin that we had.
Yeah.
So then that ended up being a full little like kind of hilarious segment of these like sled necks just showing up as us skiers were building a jump off the top of this building. And then had a little session on that, and then the rest of like the next 4 days we kind of were able to crush it, and the weather just lined up. So.
Sick, man.
Yeah.
You made me think about something. I don't know what in there made me think about this, but you're good. Like you're a big biker too, right?
Yeah.
Mountain biker.
I love mountain biking.
Are you sponsored biker as well?
I get free bikes.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not professional, but I have like enough of a presence of like trying to make content happen that the brands are willing to work with me. And I've known these guys for a while over at Specialized. So
that's you get Specialized bikes?
Yeah. So I've been I've like full on decided that next year I want to try to pursue it like more professionally.
Yeah. Like it could be like because there's not a lot of, we were talking about this at another conversation I can't remember who I was talking to about, but there's not many athletes that are at like the top of their game in 2 sports. Maybe Casey Dean.
Casey Dean kind of crushed it for a while.
Right?
Yeah. And he was just saying he's like just now sort of retiring the mountain bike side of things, but he was getting paid as a mountain biker. Dude, he hit Red Bull Rampage. Like he was in the event in 2014. I was like,
was he in Rampage in 2014?
I had no idea. And then I watched it and I was like, what?
I didn't know he was actually in it.
Yeah, he got like invited to it, and I haven't seen his like actual competition run, but he did an edit from Virgin that then got him like an athlete pick to be a part of the event.
I think I saw the edit, but I didn't know he was actually in Rampage.
Yeah.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, that's what he was telling me. So that's definitely super sick, and definitely I can't trick like those guys do, but I love riding like those. I went there's an edit that we made like last fall of mountain biking over there, and I had been to Red Bull Rampage.
What's it called? I'll post it on the YouTube.
It's called Hodgepodge.
Hodgepodge?
Yeah.
I'll post it up on the website, and then under the YouTube comments, you can click on it.
Yeah. So that was a super fun way to kind of go and ride some of the old Rampage sites. Is I had been there and watched the event in 2019, I think, and it was absolutely mind-blowing.
That was the last one until this year.
Yeah, because then COVID shut it down. So, yeah, that was super inspiring and sick to watch. And then last summer, I was just fiending. I had like learned a couple new tricks on my bike. I was like, yeah, let's go to Virgin. I want to film and edit. So I like, with the Benshi crew that we had made our first film with, we went and did a week in the mountains, and it was cool because they were my friends. So they didn't actually charge me for like filming and production. I got an Airbnb.
They're just stoked that you're going to be in the movie throwing bangers, right?
Yeah, so they were
adding some.
And they like also like with the type of film stuff that they can do, like it's professional quality enough that like they can appeal to a different industry by just showing people that like they can film mountain biking, skiing. And,
Mixtape was sick this year. I forgot you were in that too.
Yeah, Mixtape definitely part of our like major part of our winter. We were trying to shoot that all over the place. But
do you find that there's any conflict between like doing TGR stuff and like Mixtape stuff?
Definitely, it's hard to coordinate because like when it's snowing.
I mean, like I don't mean like time wise, but is it like any kind of like contractual issues or any kind of like No,
not recently. Last year on our first film, Dollar Short, TGR actually partnered with us. So I didn't even film with TGR last year or 2 years ago, but the way we partnered with TGR,
some
yeah,
footage.
They like marketed our film as part of us using the same footage to be in a segment in TGR's film. So
that's something that's happening a lot more lately too as well. Like I know Jeffy Thomas, he used to film for like 33 and like Poor Boys, and he's been doing the blank movies the last couple years. He's been doing stuff with Head as well, so he'll get like salmon, like cooch, and so like last year he had like they were in Japan and they had some cooch footage, and that ended up in the MSP movie. And like we didn't show Cooch's independent movie through CK9 this year because there was parts of
a lot of clips.
Because there were clips in MSP, and there were clips in some of the like another movie too. And it was like, I don't know how I feel about that. I think it's wise, like it's economical for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like the same shots though.
Yeah,
which I don't think happens a lot, but at the same time, you're like, well, it's in the same spot. You can tell it's the same jump. Might be a different hit, but
yeah,
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I definitely noticed, like last night watching Wiley's film. So last year, Wiley was a part of our crew for most of the season here in Montana, and he was shooting for his independent project, but then we were using same footage for our film. But what I did notice that was cool, because I don't think you caught on, was like half the clips that he showed were also in our film, but there was multiple camera angles. So it changed it up enough where then we were able to kind of like
you mentioned that. You mentioned that.
Yeah, get away with it without actually like just replaying the same clip over and over. But it's definitely, I think if you can have an independent project that no one else has seen and that isn't the same clip as what you've...
And it's going to help those guys too. TGR's purchasing footage.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to help us make our movie because we don't have like the smaller independent movie filmmakers are just basically skiers who film movies.
Yeah.
They don't have these massive contracts.
Yeah.
Like we talked about before with like, all right, you can ski in it because these guys are going to bring the money in.
Yeah.
Right. It's kind of a passion project. They try and make it work on a shoestring budget.
Definitely.
So it probably helps huge.
Yeah, definitely. Benshi's never made a dime really with the ski movie. It's always been a passion project.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Maybe that's something.
Get the travel covered, but
something you got to change. And you've always do pretty small, like short movies too, right?
With those guys. Yeah, definitely short, more narrative kind of films, which has appealed to the audience. Like people have liked them. So it's been super sick the last couple of years seeing like that evolve and kind of be.
Was it this year's with that avalanche clip in it?
Yeah, that one was gnarly that was near Jackson.
Was that wasn't you, was it?
No, that was.
It was you. Okay, yeah, that's okay. I knew I was trying and like I didn't watch it, but I had seen something of yours and I hadn't remembered what it was. I've seen so many damn movies this fall.
Your mind's really full, dude.
No, but I remember watching that. We played it on one of the matinees, and it was one of the ones I actually sat and watched because I wanted to make sure I watched that one. And that was intense, man. You captured the vibe really, really well.
Yeah.
What happened there? Talk about that.
Yeah, definitely.
So walk us through like the...
Yeah, so we had just gotten, once again, it was like February. We like just starting to get like the film season rolling here. We had like a really atrocious Avi season early year and kind of persistent all throughout the entire year. So we had been really skittish on going out into the backcountry, and we also had like a low snowpack at first. So we just hadn't quite gotten that many shots yet. And then we were over towards Jackson, I think it was early February. Maybe it was just after. It was definitely early February. And they had like a 6 snowpack, way more snow than we had. And then we started following some local guys out in the backcountry. But hadn't been in that snowpack for like much of the season, and they also had some persistent weak layers that were definitely noted, but we hadn't seen triggered anywhere. Unfortunately, that wasn't a full persistent weak layer that we set off there, but there was a recent storm, and then we followed some guys into the backcountry that were locals and knew what they were doing, and definitely had skied that zone a lot. But probably a red flag was just
following someone into
the backcountry. That
it's a lesson that you don't want to have to learn the wrong way.
Yeah,
right?
Definitely. And we kind of trusted them with their local knowledge and having been out there before.
Did you dig pits or anything?
Yeah, like we always dig pits and try to like assess the ava danger in the backcountry, but just following someone that we feel comfortable with and maybe making a few calls that we probably shouldn't have, we drop into this face. And then we all had even said like we always have safe zones. That's the nice part about filming with like a crew like that.
You got eyes on you.
We got eyes on us from like 6 different angles. Isaac was at the top, and then we have like a filmer dude on the side. Everyone's like ready in case something does go wrong. But in this case, definitely like absolute worst case scenario besides getting buried happened. So we skied this whole face. There was a little bit like more southerly aspect that was kind of getting heated up by the sun all day, and skied right on the edge of it most of the way down. And then I was like, all right, nothing's slid yet. Let's head out for this backflip towards the bottom. And there was a like propagation that I hadn't ever seen before, where I was all the way at the bottom of the slope and it had just like cracked like all the way back at the top of the mountain. And I didn't see any of it until I was taking off, and I was like mid-flip, and all of a sudden I saw some like snow moving.
You were upside down and looked and was like, oh no.
Until like hadn't any clue. Like, because at first you can see from the video like, oh, why didn't he see that? Like there's an avalanche behind him. But I was so focused on this like next takeoff I was about to do that had no idea until I was mid-flip.
Did you land like right in front of it, if I remember?
Yeah, I landed like right in front of it, but like midair had like, because that day too, like with some of the recent snow, the snow was a little punchy. And like mid-flip, I realized that is sliding. And there had been a couple punch fronts throughout there. I was like, oh my God, you cannot punch front on this. You got to
come on to the bolts.
So like bolts it, but then also
gear.
like went back seat a little bit just to make sure I didn't like go over the front.
Yeah.
So stomped it though, and then was able to ski out of it and just like look back up, and like this whole mountain is just like sliding down towards my face. And then fortunately, I was on my feet, and at that point, all there was like flat run to ski out of. So I felt pretty comfortable. I felt comfortable enough though to like, all right, this is kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like, work it a little bit.
You got cheeky,
dude.
Oh, for the shot,
for the second part of the.
I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, it was definitely gnarly and a little sus, but definitely learned some lessons. And approaching the backcountry is always
like, no, oh, cool, I got this. All right, watch this, guys. Oh, dude, Jesus,
it was gnarly, but yeah, it was really gnarly.
Oh, dude, man, what do you got? What do you got planned for this winter? You got any big trips or projects or travel or anything lined up?
I'm lining up conversations about that in the next 2 days. We got the Benshi crew in town, so I'll be working with those guys again, doing some probably even smaller projects. I don't know if we're gonna do a full short film again.
Maybe like little mini, like independent, like
like
like a Parkin clip kind of thing, or
yeah,
Parkin mini
like
feature.
Yeah, mini features or like independent projects that are just a few minutes long that are really well edited.
Would you do like a series, like 2 or 3 over the course?
That's what we're gonna like discuss, is like whether or not we want to just do like a couple and try to release them this season, or film some stuff and then next fall release it as like a series.
I know Alex Armstrong, a friend of mine, does stuff with RMU and like Tatum. They've got like a ton of stuff coming up that'll accompany her short film. And like Alex has like a 3-part. We watched the whole film, but she's going to release it as like a 3-part thing throughout the winter. This winter as well. There's lots of options, and I guess it also depends, I guess, how much footage you get.
Definitely, main goal I think so far right now is trying to crush out more than just a week with TGR. So be in Jackson in a few weeks, try to get some content over there, and then go on a trip with those guys. Have no idea where yet, but hopefully where the snow's good. And then we did have like a chance to shoot with him, like TGR up in Alaska last year. I headed up there in April, and like I've always done strike missions when I've flown up to Seaba and been like, all right, it's like about to get good probably. So fly there and then try to shoot for a couple days and then come home. But this year I was like, I haven't quite hit it on like the proper timing in a while. So let's try to just spend the whole month there. And then same thing with Kai and Todd. We're up hanging over in Juneau. So they were filming a Jeremy Jones project.
Crate of Roman candles.
Yeah, with a crate of Roman candles getting across the border. But the... snow was crazy. We got there, got a couple shots our first day, but we drove. So it was like 3.5 day drive from Montana, and then had literally the next morning this chance to get up in the heli. But it's also, we're going to be there for a month. And I was like, I don't want to spend my budget until I feel like ready to go and like feel really good about what I can do. But it was also really optimal conditions. So got out there, got like a couple runs in, and we're like, all right, sick. Like, let's head back in. We got a month here. And then literally after our first day skiing, it started snowing, and it didn't stop snowing for like 20 days, which we were almost like super down with it. At sea level, it snowed like
Do you
4
bring
feet.
your sleds on those trips?
This trip, since we drove there, we brought our sleds.
Are
So
you
we
able
had
to go and find something to do? Like,
Yeah.
even if it's just to ski, just to ski.
Totally. Yeah, we just had enough time and like the right people around there to help us show our way around the backcountry, and we sledded quite a bit of terrain there. Didn't actually like get any big shots because it literally was just puking every day, and the big train was is like in the clouds. So you don't want to get up there. But then there for a month, 20 days of nonstop snow, and we were like, all right, eventually it's going to clear up. It's going to be really good. And then right towards the end of the storm, like Carl flew up there. A couple other athletes were like, oh, this is going to be insane. And right as people started to land and like the storm started to clear, it had just been snowing at sea level. It was kind of late April at this point. It had just been snowing at sea level, like nonstop, tons of blower. But the like end of the storm, it just started to rain, and like the temperature started to rise. And then by the end of it, it was like 70 degrees in town, and it rained to the top of every peak in the range.
It ruined last year. It ruined the whole thing last year.
Ruined the entire thing. So then we all headed home and had been there for a month. And
you got that first day.
I got the first day, so we got a couple clips, but I was so looking forward to like full spines in Alaska.
So you're ready for it, hey?
I'm definitely ready for it. I'm excited to. That's where I feel like my skiing can shine. I feel like
the time for some redemption.
Yeah, it needs some like big mountain.
So that's what we're looking forward to next season.
Yeah, that would be the dream. So
the TGR Big Mountain. It's been a couple years since we've had like some really big gnarly AK segments and Japan segments, because no one's been able to go.
No one's been able to go to Japan. Yeah.
Have you been to Japan?
I got right when I signed with Black Diamond. There was a trip to this sick island called Rishiri. Way north. You can like see Russia from it. I think it's a volcano, and it it sticks out of the ground. But once again, it was kind of like, it was actually not very good skiing. It was a super beautiful experience, and like the culture was something that we fully got to experience, and it was amazing.
But it wasn't like the POW smash that
I
you
literally
were hoping
skied
for.
deeper snow everywhere besides Japan.
So what everybody thinks is like, I'm going to Japan to ski some and I always feel bad because there's always a couple of people that are like, oh, I got skunked, but it's rare. It's like it's like the reverse of winning the lottery. If you go to Japan and don't get to ski POW.
Yeah, it was a little rough because I was so excited to ski the powder there, but
right on.
We got like a super sick mountain and hiked up and mountaineered for.
Well, so it sounds like you got a plan.
Yeah,
sounds like you're ready.
Definitely have a plan for the season. I'm excited. Hopefully the snow comes our way.
Sick, man. Well, I'm gonna watch that like clip either tonight or tomorrow. Do you have it on your phone?
Which one?
The link to your segment.
The backcountry segment. I don't have that, dude.
Do you have your athlete edit out yet?
Yeah, there is an athlete edit, so that shows most of the clips.
Yeah. Watch that. I love that.
Yeah.
Said we talked about that a lot this year as well. Is like I love the athlete edits. Did you get to do it yourself? Like,
no, that was all in house with those guys. Yeah, they were.
Now, if you wanted to, can you be like, hey, can I do?
I'm gonna hit them up. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get some clips, and I love editing, and I've always been like.
That's a theme there's themes that are starting to emerge every season of the podcast. A theme starts to emerge, usually around this many episodes. But I want to see more athlete edits done by the athletes.
Yeah,
with the music that you like, the vibe that you like, the energy you like, and just see how different it is from the movie, which is good as well. But I'd like to see, because you get more of an idea of who you are as a person. And
totally, I know. I just heard someone talking about this the other day.
It might have been on the podcast.
It probably was. Yeah, it was sick to see.
I was saying the same shit. Yeah.
But
ask them. I wonder if they'll let you do it.
Yeah.
Just go in the summer for a week and just hang out and.
Yeah, like over in Jackson or just here in Montana, got a computer for it, so it'd be fun to.
You just.
They just send you the footage.
You transfer the files.
Yeah. They got some nice cameras though. You need a really powerful.
I'm gonna look forward to it.
Yeah, we might do it at some point. We'll see.
Right on, man. Well, thanks for coming. Where can people find you?
Yeah, my Instagram is @Parkin Costain, and definitely have Facebook, but don't use it very often.
Are you on Twitter?
I've like considered it, but like I don't know what you're even supposed to do on Twitter.
You just shit talk, really.
Yeah,
it's pretty much what it is.
I think my mom made me an account when I was like 12.
Smart mom.
And it's still out there, but I haven't ever used it.
Should look into it.
Yeah.
Right on.
Nice. Yeah.
Cool. We'll go follow Parkin. Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, man.
Thanks
for so much.
For a good night last night. So what we didn't even say is like I called you. I just think I just reached out on Instagram or something like that. I knew you were around here or something like that, and I was like, "Hey, man, want to do a podcast?" You're like, "Oh, I'm up in Whitefish." I'm like, "Oh, that's too bad." You're like, "I'll come down."
Yeah, no, I do this drive so often. It's unreal.
And people are like, "Really? He's driving down just for the podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah."
This is where most of my crew is. So
yeah.
I just have been up there. It's about to be Thanksgiving, hang out with the family.
Right,
so.
and it was good time last night with a bunch of rad people. And get some work done.
Yeah, it's been excellent. I'm going to go see some people up in Big Sky and then head back, build some more trails at the bike park because there's still dirt outside.
That was sick. Right on, man. Well, thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Appreciate
again.
you.
Yeah.
And go follow him.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, have a good one.
Sweet, bud.
You've been listening to the Low Pressure Podcast, the podcast for skiers. This has been a Redmark Media production.